Alright, so we're going to go ahead and get started. We're going to start with the warm up first and then we'll get moving on. Okay, ready? So it's very important that you warm up everything in your body from your ankles down to your fingers. I do a lot of freestyle, so I've had my fair share of injuries. So make sure that you guys stay warm and also be careful of your surroundings. You don't want to hit anyone or anything. Okay? So we're going to start off with a very basic warm up. You're going to do calf raises for 20. Ready? And go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 20. All right, hands on your knees, 2 down, 2 up. Sidekick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Rotations. 하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯, 일곱, 여덟. 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯, 일곱, 여덟. Very good. Now take your foot. We're going to rotate our ankle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. So now this time we're going to point and flex. Point and flex. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good job. Other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good job. Okay, we're going to go all the way back to our calf raises. We're going to do 20. 8 and go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 20. Good job. Okay, let's reach up, touch our toes. This time, while keeping your hands on the ground, we're going to lift our heels. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Keep your legs straight. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This time, lift your toes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good job. Okay, now we're going to move on to our shoulders. So shoulder rotations. Forwards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Backwards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Head side to side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Forward and back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Full rotations. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Other way. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, so turning your back side to side. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. Now reach side to side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. Okay. One of my favorite workouts to do, or exercises to do in my workout, is Inchworm with a push-up. It's a very good way of strengthening and stretching everything on your posterior chain, so everything from your back all the way down to your heels. So you're going to do 10 of those. You start with your hands to the ground, keeping your legs completely straight, walking your hands out, push up, keeping your legs straight. You're going to walk your hands back in. Okay, so we have 10 of those. Ready? And go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, now that we've gotten most of our joints warmed up, we're going to start with our actual exercises. So let's start out with some squats. When I do squats, I do different variations. So it's not just dropping and coming back up. We want to make sure that you're focusing on different things, whether it's staying stable at the bottom and pushing up strong, or going down slow, coming up slow. For these ones, we're going to focus on going down and pushing up strong. That way we get used to that feeling for when we go into our freestyle training. Ready? We're going to go for 30. And see, duck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 30. Okay. This time we're going to go to bringing our legs to the side. So you're going to start with your foot here. You're going to take your right foot, pull it up. So you want to pull up just like a side kick. So focus on this, keeping your base leg straight, your hips tilted, and your body also straight, pulling that leg up. Okay? We're going to go for 10. Ready? 1, 2. So one key thing I want you guys to look at is make sure that our ankle is going to be completely level. So we're not going to look like this. We want that level. Ready? 3, 4. Keeping your core upright. 5, 6. So she does a really good job at staying up high. This is what we're looking for. 7. And her hip comes completely sideways. So we really want to see that sideways tilt. 8, 9, 10. Good. All right, let's go to the other side. See? 1. Make sure your base foot is pivoted all the way. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so we're going to start off with flying sidekick first. So let's have a seat. In order to have a good flying sidekick, we first have to make sure that we have a good basic sidekick. So from here, we're going to take one foot, bend it, and sit on it. Our other foot, we're going to kick out, regular sidekick, and pull back. The idea is that you don't touch the ground, but if you're not comfortable with this exercise, it can feel a little painful in your hip, and so you just slide your foot on the ground like this. This is also acceptable if the other version is too hard, okay? So, Miss Sophie's gonna demonstrate doing this version, and Miss Zoe's gonna demonstrate doing the version on the floor. Ready? 1, 2. So notice how when she kicks, she's gonna lean back. That's gonna give her space in her hip. 3, 4, 5. Another thing to check for is to make sure that our opposite foot is really pulled back. So it's going to stay in line here. If it passes too far, it's not going to be a good setup for your flying side kick later. 5, 6. So over here, Miss Zoe is really making sure that she's going to lock her foot completely straight and push that heel all the way through. 7, 8. Knees locked. That's really what we're going to look for when we're doing this floor drill. 9 and 10. Good. Okay, so now most of us only do flying side kick on one leg whenever we do our freestyle, but we want to make sure that we're balanced in our muscle building. So we're going to do our opposite leg. Ready? Left leg this time. 1. This one we tend to have a lot more problems getting completely straight because it's not our focus leg. 2. See, if you notice on this one, she's going to drop her chest a lot more to get more space for her hip to go out. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, look at that, completely straight, and 10. Good, okay, now that we've done that once all the way through, we're going to really focus on the speed of the kick for our second round. So let's go back to our right side. So again, what I really want to see is a faster kick. So from here, instead of going with a slow, making sure that's extended, you're really going to shoot it out as fast as you can and lock that straight. Because when you're in the air, you really only have a split second to kick out. So you want to try to mimic that on the ground as best as you can. Now, because it's also our second round, I want to see your base foot, that foot to be pointed. A lot of times we get really lazy or we're trying to get really balanced, and so we pull our foot back like this. We want to point that because it gives a much sharper look whenever you're doing your flying side kick, and it activates different muscles. Okay? So point your toes and pull this knee back as far as you can. Ready? Right leg. 1. So again, Ms. Zoe's demonstrating the basic version where you're on the ground. 2. And Ms. Sophie's doing the more advanced where you're in the air. 3. So one key thing that she has to work on is to not drop this knee so far down whenever she's kicking. So that's something that she's working on right now, is to keeping this knee more up. 4. Oh, now she's doing it. 5. 6. 7. Good. And what I like about Miss Zoe over here is that she's keeping her arm still. So is Miss Sophie. So the arm is staying up and it's not flying around everywhere. If your arms are flying when you're doing this kick, it can be very distracting to look for as an audience member or as a judge. So you want to try to keep those arms as still as possible, which I know it's really hard to do when you're flying through the air. 8. 9. 10. Good. Okay, let's go to the other side. Did you fall over? Yes. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. A more advanced version of this is to also grab a resistance band and hold on to the resistance band. 5, 6, 7, 8. One thing I really want to show too is that both of these girls, whenever they kick, there's one straight line. So what I mean by that is we're not kicking out like this, where you see a line this way. We're kicking completely straight off the back. So this is the line that we're looking for. This foot, it's okay if it's more forward, but you really want to show the line on this leg, completely straight with your shoulders and hips, just like as if you're on the ground. It doesn't change when you're in the air. Okay, ready? Finishing up, we still have 9 and 10. 9. And 10. Good, okay, now we're going to go to the other side. Alright, so this is our last one on this leg. What I want you guys to do this time is kick, and then once you kicked out completely straight, you're going to pull up. So if you're in the air, it's going to be a lot harder because now you're in the air and pulling higher in the air. If you're on the ground, this is the next step to get to Miss Sophie's level. So you're going to go completely straight and pull up. So let's watch Miss Sophie real quick. 3, 1, she locks it out, and then she's going to lift. Yep. It's very difficult to do. Sometimes you get a block in your hip. So that's actually what mine looks like too. So don't worry too much if it's hard. That's exactly how it's supposed to look. You're going to kick straight and lift because you're really developing that hip strength and that knee strength too. Okay? So, and then Miss Sophie's also going to show us when we kick straight and then lift. Yep. It's very hard to do, but it gets you used to working those muscles so you can kick more upright and flying side kick. All right, girls, are you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, 1. Yeah, take your time. You don't have to lift very high either. 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. Good, make sure your toes are down. 7. So watch here, when she kicks, sometimes she has to rotate, and she lifts, she also rotates upwards. So we want to keep that down. Why are you falling? 8. Yeah. 9. And 10. Good. Okay, let's go to our left side. Oh man, I have a feeling this side's not going to be good. Ready? Our left side. 1. 2. So notice how she's bending her knee. We want to not do that. 3. Yep, try to keep it as straight as possible. You have to fight that urge. 4. Good. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. And 10. Awesome job. All right, let's go ahead and grab a quick drink of water, and then we're going to keep moving on with Sidekick. Okay, so we're back and we're going to work on our flying Sidekick. So this drill is much for the jumping and the tucking of that leg. So we spent a lot of time on the ground really getting comfortable with tucking that knee in. This time we're going to work on the jump for it. So what we're going to do, our base leg is going to be pointing the opposite direction of where we're kicking. So if our target's over there, our base leg kicks this way, turns this way, turn. Lifting this leg up, you're going to hold it up. You're going to jump up and try and tuck your leg all the way in and back down. Ready? 1. Okay? While holding this leg up. So the idea is that we move very quickly and you're not going to drop this leg at all. So show me 3, please. Go. Good. So she holds that knee up as high as she can for the duration of the jumps. Now, the next thing is to also make sure you don't sound like an elephant. So try really hard to land softly. So we're going to land on the balls of our feet and let our heels slowly drop down. Don't land so hard on your heels because that can create problems in your joints later. And being that freestyle is very difficult on your joints, you always want to make sure you're taking those extra precautions in your training and you're really focusing on the small details of every move. Okay, so we're going to do this for 10 times. Ready? Holding our knee up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good, okay. And because we have to make sure we're balanced on both sides, let's do the other side. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good job. Okay, so this time when you guys pull, we're going to go a lot faster with it. Ready? 10 times by your count. So you want to make sure it's rapid. As soon as you land, back up again. Ready? See. Set. Good job. All right, the other side. See. Set. Man, I'm slow. Ready? One more time, we have our right leg up. Go. Okay, left leg up. Go. Good job. All right, hands up. Touch your toes, stretch it out. Lift your heels up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Toes up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, next one we're going to go from a lunge. So from here, what she's going to do is pull her opposite knee up and jump off of this leg and rotate. Don't pull this knee up yet. Actually, wait, pull this knee up. Don't, okay. Okay, so she's focusing on pulling her opposite knee and turning, and then this knee's gonna come up like the drill that we just did. Ready? Go. Okay, so she's not kicking out. We're really focusing on getting in deep in this leg and turning all the way over. Ready? Go. Okay, one important thing that she does is have her arms back. That way she can pull them up. That's going to be really, really critical whenever we're doing this into a run. Ready? And go. Completely tucked. Okay? We're going to do this for 10 on each side. Ready? Let's basic walk. Okay. The arms are going to be set behind you. Make sure our front is pointed out. That way it mimics how we're going to go into a flying side kick when we're running. 1. Good. And what this does is it's going to rotate your hip open. That way it's easier for you to swing around. Ready? 2. Good. Really make sure we're pointing through our toes all the way through. So watch how whenever she jumps up, her toes are going to be the last thing to leave the ground. 3. Pointed. Okay? That means you're flexing through your ankle and you're really getting max height. 4. Same thing here. One thing that I really like about how Ms. Zoe does this is once she's in the air, that's when she tucks her knee in. So it looks really nice. 5. 6. 7. 8. Good. 9. And last one, 10. Good. Okay, now we're going to move to the opposite side, so please face that way, ladies. Ready? And again, this one's going to be our wonky side. Most of us use our right leg to kick. And this is our left side, but we're really just focusing on making sure that there isn't a muscle imbalance. Okay? 1. Good, so make sure we're also landing lightly. 2. Good job. One more thing that I also want to talk about is whenever we land, they both have this composure. Sometimes when we do our flying side kicks, or really any type of jumping kick, we always look like we just got blown out of the sky. We want to avoid that. So that starts in your basic drills. So watch how when they land, they're nice and composed because they're ready for the next step. That's going to start in these drills too. 4. And they're ready to go whatever happens next because they have that control in their landing. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. And 10. Good. Okay, so we're going to move back to our right leg. This time when you come up, I want you to kick out. Okay? So you're going to come up and kick. So please watch Miss Sophie. Remember, we're going to jump up. We really want to see that nice knee come all the way to her chest, and then she's going to kick out from there. Go. Good. Okay, I'm expecting the timing to be a little off to where you're kind of kicking on your down slope because you're caroming from the ground and you don't have any previous momentum carrying you up. So it is going to be harder to jump up from here, and that's okay. It's to be expected. Ready? Watch one more time. Go. So she's going to kick as that knee comes all the way to her chest. Once it hits there, then she'll let it release. Okay? Ready, ladies?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Ready? 1. So again, we're really pushing for the up. 2. 3. 4. 5. Okay, so watch Miss Zoe when she tucks. You see her kick completely extended. 6. Tuck and extended. That's what we're looking for. 7. 8. 9. Good. Last one. 10. Awesome. Okay, so we're going to face the opposite direction with our left leg. Oh, man. So left leg. Okay, ready. 1. That wasn't too bad. Good job, girls. 2. That was bad. Ready? 3. So with your opposite leg, you really have to focus on pushing the knee and controlling the knee. Sometimes we try to think of the whole leg as an action, and that's going to create what we're seeing right now. So you want to focus more on a knee drive. So ladies, please focus on the left knee. 3, 4. And you see how it was a lot better on the stick out? That's what we're really shooting for. 5. Good, and don't forget to pick up that base leg. Because we focus a lot on our left knee, we're not really focused on our right leg. So it's a lot to really process mentally. 6. 7. 8. 9. And 10. Good job, ladies. Okay, so now we're actually not going to go from a lunge. We're going to go from a half lunge. So from here, we're going to start with, again, our base leg. Our leg that's on the ground last is going to point outwards. This is going to help us move our hips. That way it's easier to rotate over. It's kind of like cheating in a regular side kick. When you're here and your leg is straight, it's a lot of work to turn and pivot. But if you're already halfway pivoted, it's a lot easier. Because in flying side kick you have the opportunity to run, you also have the opportunity to turn. That's going to really help turn that hip, okay? So what we're going to do is start in a half lunge here. So basically a really terrible forward stance. Your knees are going to be pointing outward and your heels are going to be off the ground. From here you're going to jump up knee up, leg up. So like the very first drill that we did with our lunge. Okay, so we're here. Okay, so we should have a little bit more height, being that we don't come from the ground as much. Okay, so again, we're not gonna step, we're just gonna stay in our lunge position, up, up. Okay, keep your hands in tight, don't let them move around. Ready, ladies?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, right leg back. Arms are also gonna be swung backwards. See how her knee is pointed? We really like that because it's gonna open up her hips to go up. See? 1.
Oops, no kick.
Yep, no kick. See? 2. Good job. 3. 4. So again, from a frontward angle, if we see my hips are completely open, and I'm going to turn sideways. 5. 6. Hips are sideways, one straight line. 7. 8. 9. And last one, 10. Good, okay, so now we're gonna face the opposite direction with our left leg. See, turn sideways, good. One other thing, a useful tip I would say is to bend this knee. She likes to run a lot, and so she's really used to walking that back leg straight, and it's something that we're working on. So you wanna have a slight bend, that way it's easy to just pull the knee up. See, 1. Wow, we bend it, she's like, kick, ready. 2. Good job. 3. 4. So again, return and coming up. 4. 5. So one of the key things that I noticed as a coach is that sometimes my athletes have trouble really breaking down the steps whenever they go into the running phase. So we spend a lot of time just focusing on isolated drills. So that way whenever they run, hopefully their muscle memory kicks in and they go here. I know for me too, I also struggle with that. I'll do these drills and then I'll go do my flying sidekick and none of my drills stuck, which means I have to do more of these basic drills. So believe it or not, a lot of my freestyle drills don't require a lot of space. What we're doing here is most of the drills that I do whenever even I have a full mat. So remember, these drills are all very basic, but they're very useful to creating that muscle memory. Okay, ready ladies? Let's finish it up. 6. Notice how their chest is up and their shoulders are back. That's nice and relaxed, so that way they can swing everything up through their shoulders. 7. 8. 9. 10. Someone lost a hairpin. Okay, we're gonna go back to our other side, our right leg. This time we're gonna go for the kick. So again, from here, you're gonna start, back knees bent, front knees also bent, pulling that knee to chest and then kicking out. So here, okay, one straight line. Really pushing through your heel. Okay, ready? Facing the clock. 1. Good, pulling that knee all the way up. 2. Awesome. 3. 4. One of the things that I really like about Sophie's flying sidekick is that it has a nice snap, and that's what you really want to show, is that nice clean snap. 6. 7. 8. Good. And then the things that I like about Ms. Zoe's sidekick is that she's able to keep that leg really, really straight. You'll notice a difference between the two. For Miss Sophie, she pulls hers back really fast, and Ms. Zoe does a good job at locking it out. So if I could just like smash these two together, we'd have a really, really great flying sidekick. Ready? 9. Hello. 10. Good. Okay, back to our other side, our left sitting, we always have to push down to stand up. The same concept here. You have to push down through your heels, into your toes, all the way through your ankle to get that maximum height. Okay? 4. Okay. 5. Good. And remember to have good arm control as well. So swing up, pull in. 6. 7. 8. Good. Make sure we're tucking that base leg, so you really want to focus on driving the opposite knee towards the opposite direction of your kick. So if you're going this way, it's not just about pulling that foot up, it's about pulling that knee back. So watch, if I just pull my foot up, my knee will stay down. I really want to focus on pulling my knee back and then pulling my foot up at the same time. It gets it a lot higher. So on this side, it's a lot harder to do because it's not your dominant side. Or at least for us 3 ladies, it's not our dominant side. Ready? 8. Good, don't forget the kick out. 9. And 10. Okay, so we're gonna grab some water. If you guys have any questions, make sure to comment them, that way we can answer. Hey, shit, come here. We're back. We're going to move on to multiple front kick or basic front kick. So multiple front kick is like one of my weakest ones. So we do a lot of basic drills where we're going to actually sit down for this one. From here, what we're going to do is actually, I use this drill for recognize as well to work on my foot position, but it also helps me work on the snap of my kick. So I'm basically doing 2 drills, 1 drill for 2 different things. And I really focus on a lot of multitasking in my drills. Because I am competitive in both recognize and freestyle, a lot of the drills that I have chosen to do are good for both. I don't really have a whole lot of time to really focus on like a recognized training session and a freestyle training session. So I really have to be smart about the drills that I choose in order to maximize the time that I have training, okay? So again, for this one, we're gonna start with our heels off the ground, table up. So you wanna make sure we're here, that way we lock our foot into position. Whenever you lift it up, you don't wanna drop your ankle or relax it, you wanna keep it still and stiff. So up, back down, keeping it stiff. Okay, ready ladies? Can you guys hear me? Is there a comment saying yes? Why is it muted now? Okay, sorry about that, guys. I think we're having a lot of microphone issues, and then it actually just shut down my live stream altogether. So we're back now. If you missed what we were talking about, basically just make sure that your heel is always tucked and the foot is always in a good ball of the foot position. So now that we've really warmed up our front kicks, we're going to sit back down again and work on our multiple kick. So one of my favorite drills is to just do the basic kick on the ground. So you lift your heels up, 1, 2, 3. One common mistake that I see is a lot of people keep their knees completely still to where they don't move their legs. You want to make sure that you're moving the whole leg, because once you're in the air, it's really impractical to keep your legs together and still. So you want to turn, turn, turn. So it does cause you to fall back a little bit, and that's why you have your arms behind you for brace. So here, so notice how I'm going kick, kick, kick. I'm really pulling up. A multi-function use for this drill is also for your flash kicks if you're doing backflips. All you have to do is just roll back more, going into here, 1, 2, 3. Okay, that's how we train our flash kicks. So you can do two things with this one, multiple front kick and your flash kick practice. Okay? So, most of us either do a triple or a quadruple, so we go left, right, or right, right, or we add on another kick to do 4. I'm going to be practicing 4, and the ladies here will be practicing 3. Okay? Ready? So I will start with my right leg first. You guys can start with whatever leg you want first. When I count, you'll do all of the kicks for your set. So if I'm doing 4, I go 1, 2, 3, 4. That is 1. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good, all right. Touch your toes, stretch it out. And back, one knee bent, touch. And back. I have very tight hips, so I constantly have to stretch out in between drills. Otherwise, my hips will get too tight, and I start to lock up real bad. So we stretch a lot for over here. And back. Okay, back to our drill. Okay. I highly recommend practicing both sides, so I'm actually going to do left leg first. It's up to you, but I really, really recommend just practicing both sides on the ground. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Good. Touch your toes. Pull one knee back. Touch. And switch. And up. Okay, so for our next drill, you're going to start in a forward stance, and you're going to pull your knees to your chest, 1, 2, 3, or 4 if you can do it. So watching Miss Sophie, she's going to be in a forward stance. From here, her right knee's going to come up, her left, her right. So what we want to focus on is swinging this first knee as high as we can. So she's going to really try to shoot past my hand. And then she's going to pull her left knee and right knee up higher, almost like she's climbing steps. Okay, go. Okay, so again, her first one touched my hand. That's right around chest level, and that's really where you want to shoot for. 2. Okay, and she's very quick on shifting. So as soon as this knee comes up, she's pushed off this leg to switch knees in the air very fast. You can also do this with 4 knees. It's a little bit more difficult, but you have to be very, very quick with it. So for here, we're going to go fast. So it almost looks like you're just having a spasm midair. At least that's what I like to think of it as. Okay, so ladies facing the camera, or facing the clock. Ready, right leg back. 1. Good, so it's a very quick shift. Notice how their legs are shifting and it's not just me staying still and arms moving. 2. So you can see really sharp knees. On Sophie, you can see a little bit more clear. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10. Good, other side. So we're going to face the opposite direction. And like I said, for triple kicks, I actually train both sides. And if you look back through my routines, you'll notice that like every single one, I change sides. I flip back and forth. And it helps with my choreography depending on whatever side looks better. That's the side that I'll record with or that I will compete with. So it's really, really important to make sure you are practicing both sides, because once you get to 4, it's essentially a triple with an additional kick. So you're doing a triple on each side, no matter which way you think about it. So practicing the basic here is really going to help you get comfortable with getting a quad a lot faster than only training one side. So just practice both sides as you're getting comfortable with it. That way 4 is really easy to do later on. Okay? Ready? 1. One of the things that I really like about how Ms. Zoe does this is she swings her arms back and then really pushes them forward whenever she's launching that knee up. 2. And then you see how her first knee comes to about belt level, but her second and third come here and then chest. So it makes it a lot easier for her to get those legs all the way up. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. So in flying sidekick, we made sure that our front foot was pivoted out. For multiple front kick, you don't. You want that to point straight. Otherwise, you start to turn sideways into the kick, and it looks more like roundhouse kicks. We don't want that. So you want to make sure base leg is pointing forward. 7. 8. 9. And 10. Good. Okay, so we're going to flip to the other side now with our right leg behind us. This time we're going to go right into the kick. Because we did so many basic kicks on the ground and front kick is very simple, I focus a lot on just doing your kicks here from one step. So you're here, right away. Okay? It's really hard to get your left leg up, but try your best. Your second one's usually the hardest one to get. So just really focus on driving, but don't forget your other knee also has to come up. So if we're here, okay? Really focus on pushing that knee up. Ready? Facing the clock. 1. Yep. We're not going for height because we are not running, so it's a lot harder to get all the way up. 2. Ms. Zoe has a really, really clean one because she's able to get that second knee up there very well. 3. 4. Good. And if we look at Miss Sophie, we see how she's able to lock that knee completely straight with a really sharp chamber. Remember, judges are looking for 80% extension in your knee. So you want to make sure that you're really getting all the way out there. 5. Good. One thing that she could do more is pulling that knee up because she keeps her legs very close together. So we want to really like kind of climb stairs. 6. There you go. 7. She might be a little tired though. Tired? Ready? 8. Good. So she does a good job of pulling that knee up, just like when Zoe does. 9. And 10. All right, so you're going to flip to the other side. Again, I cannot stress this enough. Make sure you're practicing both sides, especially if you're first learning it. This is one of those things where I say it doesn't matter to get one side down and then go back and learn the other side. What really matters is training them both equally. Because this is a relatively easy requirement if you drill it right from the beginning. I did not drill it right in the beginning, so I have to go back and relearn it. So save yourself the trouble. Just learn them both at the same time as you're learning it for the first time. That way it's easier as you get better at it. Ready? 1. What did you do?
I forgot the third kick.
She forgot the third kick. 2. Yep, so you're really focusing on getting those legs up there. 3. 4. 5. 6. Sophie, come on. 7. 8. 9. And 10. Good. Okay, let's grab some real order real quick. Okay, hang in. Kicks is to make sure that you're always spotting. For me, the hardest thing about 540 is keeping that leg completely straight. And then 720, the other hardest part is to not over-rotate or under-rotate that first step. So it's really getting comfortable on your axis and then having a good basic foundation of spinning. Okay? So from here, what we're going to do is scoot forward. We're going to start with a basic turn. So we're going to start with one side and then we're going to really pull our knees up and turn our hips and shoulders. One of the things that I always tell my students, actually let's do a pop quiz. What's the first thing you do at a spin kick?
Turn your head.
Turn your head. Good job. She passed. I know, right? In front of everyone, you had to pass. Okay, so the most important thing is to always turn your head and spot your target with your eyes. For little ones, I always have trouble because they turn their head, but they don't look. So if my target is the camera, I always want to make sure that my eyes are facing the camera again. That's really, really important to understand that concept for when we're doing our turning kicks. Also, when we get into more advanced kicks, that concept's never going to leave. So make sure you're really focusing it for your basics. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start with our feet apart. We're going to drop down into a half squat with our hips to the side. When we jump, we're going to turn our head and our hips and shoulders all together into a tight turn. What we're not going to do is bring our feet together. We're going to pull our knees up. So it should look like this. Okay, so our knees are coming up into that turn. We have to get used to turning and pulling the knees up all in one shot. Ready, ladies? Okay, so we're off to the side. Ready? 1. So again, we're keeping those knees up. How you land, it doesn't really matter. So we're not focusing on the landing at all. We're just focusing on the initial turn. 2. So if you notice, Miss Sophie actually actually doesn't turn her head like she just said she was. She keeps her head facing straight, and then she's turning her shoulders like this. So if you notice the difference between her turn and her turn, watch Miss Zoe. Miss Zoe turns her head right away, and that's why it's a lot smoother to get around. This little one does not. Watch, go. And that's why when she turns over, she's doing that hiking with her chest, because she's not able to rotate all the way around. So watch when she actually does it correctly. Ready? Go. See how she's able to get a lot better around and not hike over as much? That's what we're looking for. So make sure chin goes to shoulder every single time. Ready, ladies? 4. And 5. Okay, now let's get undizzy and go the other way. Ready? 6. Good. 7. 8. 9. 10. Good. Okay, so now we're going to do a spin hook kick. So from here, what I like to do is train the kind of half step between it. I'm going to keep my heel up and turn towards the direction of the camera. From here, I'm going to start my kick, pull up and around. Okay, so we're really focusing on that knee coming up to the side, making a nice wide kick. Whenever you're doing freestyle, I have a philosophy that there's 2 different types of hook kicks. There's one where you really bend down and turn, and then there's the other one where you're a little more upright and facing the direction of your kick. If you do this method, it's good, but it's a lot harder to control the landing, and because freestyle is graded so heavily on the landing and the stance that you're in afterwards, I do prefer the more upright technique. So that's a little tip and trick. Make sure you're watching your technique on where you're landing and where your chest is. You might have to alter the mechanics of your hook kick in order to get a better landing. If you're going into more of a combo run too, that can also affect things. So make sure that you're understanding which things are influencing what. Okay? So from here, what I like to do is keep my chest up more, spotting my target, and see how my shoulders are opening up towards the direction of the kick. That's really what you want to focus on to get a nice clean landing where you have good balance. Okay, ready ladies? So we're going to have our right leg forward, heel up. Ready? This way. She doesn't like the camera. 1. Good, and reset. 2. So she has a really, really good arc. She's going to kick about right there and then go around. So hopefully she doesn't hit me. But this is my sister, so she might. Ready? 3. 4. Another thing she does a good job at is keeping that leg horizontal and not coming down. I see a lot of girls, one of the biggest problems they have, and even I have this problem, is dropping that leg across. So you really want to focus on opening up that hip to keep it all the way sideways, but also not being lazy with the kick and then dropping the leg down. Okay? 6. So Sophie's really good at that. So what I mean by keeping the leg up and not down is a lot of times I see this number where you kind of like pull the knee down and then try to carry it across. You can't. You have to really focus on keeping the knee up and around, but not too stiff. It's a very hard kick. I like to think of it as when you go to the doctor and you sit and they do like the little thing where they hit your knee and you have that knee jerk reaction. It's kind of the same thing, just backwards. Ready? I know, really weird analogy. 8. 9. And 10. Good, other side. One of you is not like the other. You switch, there you go. 1. You're fancy, kick with your right leg, go that way. Switch feet. This one is gonna kick that way. 2. There you go. Switch. 3. Okay, so on our non-dominant leg, we sometimes have trouble getting all the way around. So what I want you to think about is almost like you're going to do a hook arm with this arm. So you're going to come here, hook all the way through. So you're just punching something. Please don't punch me. 4. And that usually helps you get a faster rotation around. 5. All the way across. 6. There you go. See how that's a much wider rotation? That's what we're looking for. 9, and 10. Okay, going into the fun stuff, our 540s. So we do a lot of conditioning here to make sure you get this rotation right. I call this the tree drill because it kind of looks like the tree pose in yoga. I don't practice yoga, so I hope that's correct. Anyways, you're going to keep your heel above your knee and bend. So from here, all we're going to focus on is just jumping up. We're not going to spin, we're just jumping up. So knees pointing outwards, ankle is locked on top of the opposite knee and up. Okay, so we're going to do about 20 of these consistently, so non-stopping. Okay, we're not going to spin just yet. We're just getting used to the feeling of jumping off of our toes and then making it a fast jump too. Because a lot of times when we do our 540s, we're stuck on the ground. This is going to help you get used to just touching and going, like jump roping. Okay, ready ladies? So holding your left knee up, we're going to do 20 times. Ready, and see, check. So really focus on pointing your toes. See how Miss Sophie isn't, but Miss Zoe is? So we really want to point, yeah, see, there we go, and now she got higher. That's what we're focusing on there, is making sure we're all the way through our toes. Okay, now for our right leg up. Lead, see, check. Good. They both do a very good job of making sure they're all the way through that ankle and keeping that knee over the opposite knee. Sometimes we get a little lazy and we start doing this. That's incorrect and not going to help you. Always make sure that your heel is on the opposite knee. That way you can get used to that rotation. Okay? So, because we're running a little bit short on time, we're going to go ahead and move on to the next drill. Normally, we would do that 2 more sets. Okay, so left leg is going to go on top. From here, you're going to rotate with it. So, spin. Okay? You should feel like a figure skater. Ready? Left knee on top. Key things are notice how her shoulders are tilted and her hands are to the side. When she goes up, she's really going to focus on the spot and turn, and then driving this knee outward like a spiral. So it's almost like a screw. That's really what you're going to look like, is a little screw going upwards. Ready? 1. Guys, we don't have to worry about the kick just yet. 2. Okay, careful thing to watch for is Miss Zoe sometimes does this, or whenever she kicks, she really hangs this leg out and then jumps. You can hang it out just a little bit, but you don't want to go too far and then turn, because it's going to make you lose that shape we're looking for. So you want to try your best to keep that knee over, keep that foot over the knee. And then you're going to turn it midway. So make sure you keep this shape. That's the shape you really want to shoot for. Okay? 5. Good. And then you should see how she had a much tighter rotation. So that's what we're going to look at. 6. 7. 8. Good. 9. And 10. Awesome. Okay, let's go into our other side. So we're going to have our right leg on top. I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing, because they both kick with their left legs. Ready? 1. That wasn't a terrible thing. That's good. Okay, so again, we're going to focus on throwing our arms up to the side, to our corner, and then you're going to also want to pull them in. So it's not going to be quite rainbow arc. I like to think of it as like an upside down check, or upside down swoosh from Nike, because you're going to go up to the side. So if you can see that swoosh design. So here, okay, ready? 3. Good. 4. Good, make sure we're pushing all the way up through those toes. 5. Good, Miss Zoe's got it. 6. 7. So one thing I like about hers too is that she also tucks her knee in when she comes up, which makes it a really nice rotation. 8. Base knee tucks in. That's going to make it look really high whenever you're in the air. 9. And 10. Good. Okay, back to our other leg. This time we're going to throw a kick out. So with your kick, you can choose to go as high or as low as you want. Just remember that this is our basic step into 540. So for here, we're going to choose to jump up. I always think of it as here. My knee is just going to flip out into that hook kick. But I have to do that in mid-air, which can get a little tricky. So as soon as I spot my target again, I'm going to flip my knee and then kick out. So if I'm here, spot, flip. Okay, so try to get it across. Remember how I said I even struggle with getting my knee across? This is a drill that really helps with that. So work on trying to push that knee sideways and keeping it up. Okay, see? One. Good. One thing is you also want to try to land mostly on your right knee and keeping that bent. If you land too far on your left leg, it's because something went wrong in the kick. Okay? 2. Good. 3. Good. So Ms. Zoe has a really good one because her knee doesn't drop or come down at an angle, it comes across. 4. 5. 6. 7. Good. So look how she's jumping up and then rotating really quick. That's what you want for. You want the up and then the turn. You don't want to jump from the ground. So watch Ms. Zoe, if she jumps and turns, if she twists from the ground, her spin's going to be off. Ready? Go Zoe. See how she doesn't get the height? So what you're really looking for is the up factor and then the spin factor. See? And that's what's helping her get all the way around and even over rotating a little bit. Okay? All right, set. 9. And last one. 10. Okay, good job, guys. All right, so we're gonna skip the other side because neither one of us do right leg. But you would practice both. I practice both for the most part. And then when I get into actual 540, I usually choose my dominant side, which is a bad habit. So from here, what we're going to do is start with our back leg, our stepping leg in the back. Our right leg is gonna go behind. We'll step forward, jump, okay? So it's a really, really simple thing. You're just stepping one, and then your opposite knee is coming up, rotating around, okay? So you always make sure that you're jumping off of the leg that you step with. So 1, up. Make it nice and spinny, rotating up and pulling in. No kick just yet. Ready, ladies? Okay? Behind you, 1. Yep, try to make sure you're getting that rotation all the way around so you're throwing your shoulders to the side. 2. Good. Really, really focus on weight transfer onto your right leg and then pushing up from there. 3. Good. 4. Awesome. All right, let's kick it out now. 5. Good. Ready? She hasn't practiced these in a while. Can you tell? 6. Good. Don't lose sight of where you're going. So you can, one clear difference between these two is when she turns, she actually kind of just stops spotting and she just looks towards the back, but her shoulders are keep rotating. Ms. Zoe, what she's able to do is keep her chin on her shoulder and spot the whole direction. Okay, so you always want to make sure that you're spotting and you're turning. Now, one thing that doesn't mean to do is to keep your chin on your shoulder and then just turn like this. It's not going to work that way. You're going to rotate shoulder and head different times. So shoulder might have to go first and then head catches around. Okay, that type of spotting is going to make a difference in this 540. So you always have to make sure you know what's turning, whether it's head first and then shoulders catch up, or head last and then shoulders are going first. Okay, so it might change depending on how you're doing it. Ready? 7. See how she's able to get much more around? It's because she changed the way she spots. 8. Yep. 9. Okay, and watch mine real quick, so watch the spot of the shoulders and the head. Okay, so I'm turning and turning. Really using my spine and my hips to go all the way around. Ready? Last one. And 10. Good job, guys. All right, let's do some stretches. Okay? Hands up, touch your toes. All right, one knee forward. We're going to start with our knee on the ground in a lunge. If you guys have any questions while we still have time, think of some and put them in the comments below. We're going to start answering questions here in a couple of minutes. Okay, lifting that knee up. And down. Straighten the leg. And slide into the split. Try to keep your hips rotated as much forward as you can. Good job. Swing it around front. Oh, touch your toes real quick. Okay, back. Going to our knee lunge. Make sure you're really focusing on driving your hips forward and also not turning your hips to the side. A lot of times we try to turn to the side like this in order to get more flexibility, but all you're doing is hurting the structure of your hips. So make sure you keep those straight and you also keep your back leg straight as well. Don't twist it or turn it. Make sure that knee is down and that ankle is also down. Okay, lift the knee. Really push to that back leg to make it all the way straight through your knee. And drop the knee, other leg straight. So again here, you really want to focus on keeping those hips straight and not turning from side to side. And you also want to make sure you have a nice angle on this leg. You're not sitting down to straighten it out. You have a right angle and you're really bent from the hips down. And straighten it out into the split. Again, try to keep your hips as straight as possible, otherwise you'll end up like me, old and hurt. I had to go through therapy to fix that because I didn't stretch properly. So make sure you guys are always keeping your hips straight as much as you can. All right, sit down. Going into a butterfly. And down, touch your toes. Really try to push your knees down. Open up those hips. Up. One leg straight, cross the knee. Hold that leg. Give yourself a nice hug. Do you need a hug after that training? No. And switch. Really pull and feel a nice stretch into this leg. You want to try to make sure your lower back is pushed straight up and you're not sinking down. Push up. That way you have good posture. I'm really tight. I used to be able to touch my chest and my knee, but I can't right now, so I'm really, really tight. All right, and relax. Okay, up. Thank you guys for joining us. If you have any questions, make sure you put them in the comment box, and we're going to go ahead and get started with some questions now.
Someone mentioned how much time is considered to be normal for a beginner, and how much for a more skilled one.
So a beginner beginner student, if you're just getting started at like white belt, they train about 3 hours a week, or at least under our program here at Texas Forge. For beginner athletes, so there's a difference between beginner students that are just learning Taekwondo as like a hobby, and athletes. Our athletes, they train as beginners a minimum of 6 hours a week. And then for our more advanced athletes, they train roughly 10 to 15 hours a week. And then I myself try to put in anywhere from 20 to 30 hours a week. It just depends on my schedule with school and then working, and then also coaching. There was a question sheet, so I'm going to pull that up now. Okay, when and how did you start practicing Taekwondo? I've been involved in martial arts for a long time. My dad wanted my sister and I to take it up to learn how to defend ourselves and really have the character skills that you get along with it, like confidence, discipline, respect, things like that. So we took up different forms of martial arts, whether it was karate, or I think at one point we were in like jujitsu when I was 8. But I started formally training in Taekwondo when I was, I think, 11 years old. Another question is, when and how did you start competing? My first competition, I was 16 years old. My parents actually made me wait an entire year before I was allowed to compete. I had told them I wanted to compete, and they said, you need to train for a year. If you can prove it to us by training every day for a year, we'll let you compete. And so I did. I really wanted it, so I trained every single day for a year, and when the next competition came up, they said, okay, and we went to the US Open Hamnadong in Colorado Springs, Colorado. That's actually one of my favorite competitions. It's very festive, and the environment is a really, really nice one, especially if you're starting out competing. My most memorable Taekwondo experience. Ooh, that's a really good one. I think probably my most memorable one was in 2014 at my first World Championships, because it was my first time experiencing Taekwondo at that level. I had a lot of experiences that to this day I really cherish. Unfortunately, during that trip, I also broke my wrist and competed with a fractured wrist. But aside from all of that, I think my favorite thing was seeing the different countries and seeing how a culture really does come together in Taekwondo. How we all come from different parts of the world, but when we're at that World Championship, we really, really felt as one. I think also my other favorite thing is seeing all the different cheers. That's always exciting. My family always come back home with like a new cheer from a different country. And so whenever we see that country play sports, whether it's mostly football or soccer, we always do their cheer with them. Or whenever we see them compete at a different competition like a US Open, we're always trying to cheer with that country just because we find it really fun. 4, can I give you guys advice on mental preparation for championships? How do you handle stress and nerves? So for me, a lot of what I tell myself when I compete is that if I've done it in training, I can do it now. And what that means is, like, most of the time when I'm competing, I'm actually really tired. And that's just how it happened to have been working out the past year. I've always been coaching or in school, and so by the time I actually get to compete, I'm exhausted. But I always tell myself that if I can do it on my hardest days of training, then I can do it now. If I can push through on any type of training condition, then I can push through now. So one of the things they really, really rely on is my training. So I know that I have to trust my training, and that really helps me kind of like ease my nerves, because I know I can do it. So I think the number one thing is just to believe in yourself and believe in your training. If you have 100% confidence in your training, it's not going to fail you. So you really, really have to trust that. Another question is, what advice can you give to someone who wants to become successful in Coumsey competitions? Get used to criticism. That is probably one of my biggest advice. And then also perseverance. So getting used to criticism, because no matter what you do in Coumsey, whether it's recognized or freestyle, somebody is always going to have an opinion on how it should be done and how they feel about it. So get used to being criticized and either taking that criticism and applying it or just letting it pass by you. You have to be the judge of that, but also understand that sometimes that criticism is there to make you better. So you have to really focus on how you're going to use that criticism to either fuel you or break you down, because that can happen. The other one was perseverance. Freestyle and recognize have to do with a lot of repetition. You're doing the same thing thousands and thousands of times. So you really have to focus on persevering and applying those criticisms we talked about. That way you can really become the true athlete that you are. What do you love most about Taekwondo? I think one of the things I like the most is that it allows me to really push myself as an individual, and then also push myself with my teammates, whether they're my students that I coach or whether they're my teammates that I compete with. You have the ability to really push lifelong and make those connections. I think the other one of my favorite things is I have the opportunity to compete with different age groups. So last year I had the opportunity to compete with an under 50 competitor in freestyle. And that to me is amazing, that you have that ability to really stretch these age boundaries and push yourself for a lifelong living, which to me is really, really neat. What does it give you being a coach and teaching others? One of the number one things that I like is the satisfaction of being able to pass along the knowledge that I've learned to my athletes, and then they are able to apply it and even pass it along to their teammates or even their athletes that they also work with. To me, if I didn't pass along that knowledge, then I didn't do anything to better the sport. I left it the way I found it. And that's not the direction that I want to go. I always want to make sure that I'm able to continue pushing this sport by educating the younger generations. So whenever that happens and I see these athletes that are applying the things that I said and really pushing themselves, it really, really makes me happy, because I feel like I'm making a difference within the Taekwondo community, even if it's just a small one. What are your future goals in Taekwondo? I'd like to grow my business, Texas Sports Taekwondo, into a much bigger school. And then I also want to focus a lot on coaching my athletes, because we're all really making great strides, but I feel like they're really, really close to really getting there. So I always want to focus on them and really, really push them to do their best. As far as my personal goals, I don't know, we'll see. I'm trying to focus on like one step at a time and then go from there. What is your best advice to stay motivated during lockdown? So remember that whenever you feel like you're stuck, you're also not alone. There are thousands and millions of other people who are stuck with you. So you want to remember, what is the number one person doing? The person that you're trying to maybe edge out in a competition. If they're training, then you should be training. And that's kind of how I always try to like make things a small competition within myself. I always remember that somebody else is training harder than me. Can I live with that? Yes or no? And when I answer that question, that usually answers whether or not I should train. So if you're happy with your place and you feel like you don't need to train, then that's for you. But if you're not happy, that's your motivation. If you feel like somebody else is going to get better than you, then push harder, train harder. There's a lot that you can do even in a lockdown. I know for my students and I, we definitely worked on Zoom. We got on Zoom calls, we started training, we were practicing many hours a week because we didn't want to let this time slip by. At the time when lockdown happened, I told them that they are never ever going to get this opportunity to stay still and not have a competition or not travel anywhere for months at a time. So it's going to be very, very hard for them to come back if they don't train. So use that time wisely, because it's not going to happen again. And then a bunch of virtual competitions popped up. So luckily we were prepared. Were there any comments or questions from the feed?
Someone commented about, I feel pain on my side hip and lifting the knee. What could be the problem?
On your side hip up into the knee?
When lifting the knee.
When lifting the knee?
Mm-hmm.
That could be something is stuck. So you might want to, I would recommend like chiropractic therapy or even physical therapy to make sure that everything's aligned properly. It could be that you landed wrong, you twisted wrong, you stretched something wrong. A lot of things can affect that. Any other questions? Okay, I think that's it. I hope you guys had a fun time training today. I know we enjoyed it immensely, and we hope you guys also learned a lot from this training. We wish you guys a peaceful December filled with training and happiness and health as well. And we look forward to seeing you guys in the future. So best of luck in all of your future Taekwondo training. Bye!